Yo, what's good? It's your boy Sid. We back at it with another video. We're following through in the Venus sign series with the planet Venus coming through the sign or constellation of Capricorn. So before we continue though, I do want to ask you guys to like the video, right? I need y'all to share it. I need y'all to comment below if you have any thoughts. And you can share it with anybody that you feel like is into astrology that may resonate as well, or just be curious about this placement. Let's talk about what Venus actually represents in a chart and within astrology. So Venus is a feminine planet, right? It rules over the signs of Taurus and Libra. So the planet Venus will show similar to what these actual two signs represent. That's what the planet Venus will represent. So for instance, Taurus, which it rules over, is the sign of stability, money, and finance. So the Venus placement will show how you may make money, possible indications, right? By sign and by house. Now, another thing is Venus, we said, rules over the sign of Libra. And Libra in astrology is the sign or constellation of relationships. So your Venus placement will also show you how you are like in your relationships. It can show your love language, things of that nature. You know what I mean? So in terms of other things it can show, well, we just said, it can show how you can relate to others, / your love language. But you want to compare that with your seventh house in terms of what's going on in your seventh house by the sign that's on the cusp of the seventh, as well as any planets, right? This will tell more about your love language, how you relate to others, you know what I mean? What you attract, things of that nature, right? So there's a multitude of areas you got to look at, right? Just keep that in mind. Now, your Venus will show also what you value and the value you can bring to the table. So another thing it shows is how you can make money, but you want to compare that with your second house. Second house is a Taurus house, right? So I already told you Taurus is a sign of money, stability, finance, things of that nature. So look at Venus coming through Capricorn, right? But also look at the second house in terms of the sign, whatever sign you have there that's on the cusp, and any planets there, and that will tell more about possible ways you can make money. Now, I did a video, which I'll link right here, on occupations associated with each sign, which I'll show you possible ways you can make money or occupations that can fall in line with what's going on in the second house and other areas within your chart. You can go watch that video. Like I said, I'll link it here. And for a man, right? Only for a man, Venus, since it rules over women and it's a feminine planet, it will actually show the ideal wife archetype, right? And we're going to elaborate a little more. Now, next thing Venus will show for those of you who have nighttime charts, and I did a video which I'll plug right here. It's called SEC basically, and it's about day versus nighttime charts and finding where you may have strengths or challenges in your chart by house. In that video, for those of you who do have daytime charts, and I show you again how to find if you have night or daytime charts, Venus will show the strength, right? The strengths or blessings by the house that is deposited into. So go watch that video if you want to know a little more, right? And again, that's only for nighttime charts. So let's jump back up, and we're going to actually go through what Venus through Capricorn means, and we're going to talk about, just the things that it can tell us, right? For those of you who have displacement. So in terms of how you relate to others and your love language, right? So if you know anything about Capricorn, Capricorn is ruled by the planet Saturn, right? Saturn is a planet that represents time. It represents maturity. It's an elderly type of energy, right? So this can show the type of individuals that you're more attracted to, basically, right? And how you also will relate to others in your love language. So being that Saturn rules over elderly people, and we said Saturn rules over Capricorn, you may find that you actually are drawn to older people or more mature people, right? People that are usually, they could be people who are also very much about work and career and their status and their reputation. So this can be bosses that we find, or just authority figures of any sort. These would be people that you are attracted to, and since this is what you how you relate to others, basically, you can come off in this manner in your relationships. You come off as more of the responsible and reliable type, the authority, basically. So, these things are within us, but we attract this energy as well, too. Like I said, you want to compare that with whatever is going on in that seventh house, and I would tell a little bit more, right? Now, so I wanted to say that since Capricorn is ruled by Saturn deals with time and maturity, like we said. So you may find that for you, like whether it be marriage or whether it be if you are interested in marriage or just your relationships, you may find that you have to kind of work harder in this area. And again, you're the one who has to be responsible. And those of you who do want to be married, you may find that marriage comes later on in life, basically, right? And this would be similar to those also who have Capricorn on the 7th house, right? Or Saturn in the 7th house. It's the same type of energy. So just keep that in mind. Now, in terms of what you value and what you can bring to the table, since I said you guys are the mature ones, the responsible ones, you guys come off and relate to others like an authority figure, right? Because Capricorn is the sign that rules over authority figures and like the government, and as an example, you value these things, right? And this is what you could bring to the table: your leadership ability. You know what I mean? How organized, how methodical you are, how reliable. You guys can possibly be a bit shrewd too. Some people with this placement, maybe some of the women may be into older guys who are bosses, right? I don't know. Some people might like sugar daddies, you know what I mean? But, you know, not everybody, of course. Just some people may be or come off that way. Let's see. So, again, the things you can bring to the table is these practical skills, basically. You know what I mean? Being about your business, right? Being about your grind. Now, let's go down to how you can make money, right? Let's talk about how you can make money. Again, compare this with your second house by the sign that's there and any planets, if you have any planets there in that second house, and this will tell more. So Capricorn, we said, rules over the government, right? So you'll see some people in governmental affairs that have this placement. It also rules over elderly people. So this can be people who work with the elderly, elderly homes, things of that nature. Capricorn rules over CEOs, bosses. So some people actually be making money through their own businesses. And since Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, Saturn deals with time, you'll see watchmakers, you'll see people that are actually into jewelry. You'll see some COs, correctional officers, because Saturn and the Capricorn energy is kind of like restrictive. So it can deal with confinement as well too. So you'll see some people in this manner as well. Another thing that it may rule over is general laborers of any sort, right? And that's because Capricorn is very much about hard work, right? It's the highest earth sign, as it's known as the goat, basically. But you know, there's more things, you know, that can show up under this energy, but those are just some. People that work in the cemetery, in medical astrology, Capricorn rules over the bones. You know what I mean? So chiropractors can be under this energy. Any type of occupation that deals with bones as well too. These are just some examples. You know what I mean? Again, go watch the video I did on occupations associated with each sign, and I would tell you a little more. You know what I mean? But these are just some examples. Let's talk about the ideal wife archetype for my fellas out there, for the men, basically. So, again, since you guys can come off as someone who's responsible, reliable, mature, even if you're a younger person, you just have this type of energy that you were born under, basically. So these would be the characteristics and qualities in terms of the ideal wife archetype that you need, basically, right? You probably wouldn't want somebody who's immature, you know what I mean? You want somebody who's about their business, basically. Possibly somebody who could provide, basically, for themselves, as this is a part of you as well too. I did say that if you have your Venus coming through the sign, you may feel like you have to work a bit harder in your relationships. And since it's ruled by Saturn, which is the father, or which rules over time, you may find that in your relationships, in terms of the ideal wife archetype, it takes you a bit longer to get married. It could come later on, maybe possibly after your 30s, right? So just keep that in mind. Now, for those of you who have this placement that are my fellows out there, I did another video, right? And it's basically on the keywords associated with each zodiac sign. Now, I want you to look into the house that your Venus is deposited into, right? And also, I want you to relate back to the video I just mentioned. And the reason why I'm saying that is because each house that corresponds with a zodiac sign. So, for instance, if your Venus is in the first house, this corresponds to Aries. It's an Aries house. So you would need someone who has the qualities of Capricorn and Aries, right, in terms of ideal wife archetype. And you can look at that video I did again on keywords associated with each zodiac sign, and it will show you the qualities of Aries in terms of what you need in a woman, for my fellas out there. Now, if it's in the second house, this is a Taurus house, right? So you would need Capricorn slash Taurus qualities, and you can look at that video, right? If it's in the third house, this would be Gemini. So you need Gemini qualities along with your Capricorn qualities for the woman. Fourth house would be Cancerian qualities. Fifth is Leo. Sixth is Virgo. Seventh is Libra, right? Eighth would be Scorpio. Ninth is Sagittarius. 10th is Capricorn. Since this is a Capricorn house, it's double down on that energy. And 11th is Aquarius, and 12th is Pisces, right? So again, look in that video, go figure out what sign is associated with the house, and that way you can see more qualities of ideal wife archetype that you need. Now, for those of you who have a nighttime chart, you can go back and look at the video I did on day versus nighttime charts, which I said I'll link to this video. And in there, like I stated, Venus will show you by house where you may find that you have strengths at, basically. Another thing you can do is, and I explained this in that video, is wherever house that you have the signs of Taurus and Libra in, that can be other places where you have possible strengths. Nothing is for certain, because again, there can be other factors going on within a house, or that's connected to your Venus placement. But just keep that in mind. So that's pretty much about it. This was the planet of Venus coming through Capricorn. I thank you guys for tuning in. We got more videos coming soon, and y'all stay tuned. Holla at your boy. Peace.